Hi there, good evening everybody. I want to welcome you here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music, and I just realized I left my water out in the kitchen. Well, we'll just have to muddle through. Hopefully my voice doesn't dry and crack up. So tonight we're doing the look back at a classic rock album. This is a show I do every Monday night in which I take an album that's either a two and a half, like a two and a half and up, basically, that's more than 15 years old that I think of as a classic. So the album we're going to do today is from IQ, one of my favorite new bands or bands that I discovered on this channel, whatever you want to call it. The album is called Subterranea. It's a double disc, 102 minutes of songs. Usually way beyond my ability and capacity to handle, but this is such a good album. I did make like 3 pages of notes though, so I'm going to try to get through this fairly quickly though if I can. So this album is basically a concept album. It's about a man who's held captive and experimented on, sensory deprivation, and they do all kinds of different things to him to try and, I guess, see what's going to happen with him. Anyways, it goes through the whole story is about one person basically. This album was released in 1997. And it's about 102 minutes, a little bit more than 102 and a half minutes long, on the Giant Electric P label. Mike Holmes, the producer, as well. So appearing on the album, of course, IQ are Peter Nichols on lead and backing vocals, Mike Holmes on guitar and guitar synthesizers, John Jowett on bass and backing vocals, Martin Orford on keyboards and backing vocals, Paul Cook on drums and percussion, and also Tony Wright, who is an additional musician added for the saxophone. So there are a total of 19 tracks, 11 on the first side, the first disc, and 8 on the back disc. It's a great album. I like it a lot. So I'll give you a general overview of it. It's very prog oriented, of course, very prog. I would call this a Neo Prog sound, very atmospheric prog, lots of synthesizers, lots of keyboards, and a variety of keyboards too, not just your regular keyboards. There's some organ at times on here, some piano as well. I do believe there's a xylophone, at least in one. I'm not sure who plays it, but I assume it would be the keyboardist. But I'm not 100% sure. It could be the percussionist even. Not sure. But anyways, so lots of that. Some heavy guitar riffing at times. Very catchy riffing as well. Lots of slow melodic guitar soloing. A couple of solos that are kind of fast-paced as well. Intermittent amounts of keyboard solos as well. Drums are pretty predominant. Very technically sound drummer Paul Cook. Fantastic. Playing his part perfectly, I think. Some bass. Bass isn't as predominant as the other instruments, but still pretty good when it has to be. What else can I tell you about it? Lyrics are great, of course. Peter Nichols writing all the lyrics on this, telling the whole story. So just great. There are I believe three instrumentals in total of the 19 tracks. So that's a basic overall view of it. It's a clear sounding, good production album. Lots of catchy riffs. Has a little bit of that Genesis feel to some tracks, but they at this point have already begun to evolve into their own real strong sound. This is a really good album. Okay, so I'll just break down the tracks quickly. I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing this. So the first track, which is called Overture, it's about 4 minutes, a little bit more than 4.5 minutes long. Starts out with a nice keyboard synthesizer, atmospheric part. Very heavy guitar and drum dominated part at some points during the song too. It's got a nice heavy catchy riff to it. Keyboard dominant part with piano in there, is mixed in there as well. There's a little bit of a spin on the symphonic dominated part, and it ends with a nice piano as well. So there's lots of stuff going on in this particular track. I did like this track. It's one of my top 5 or 6 on the album. Next song is a short one. It's about a minute and a half, a little bit more than a minute and a half, called The Provider. Very clear, nice melodic vocals, spoken word, I guess is what you would call it. A little more than spoken word. It's not just him speaking. He does have a singing inflection to his voice, but it's slow and melodic, and a large synthesizer atmosphere for it. Next track out, Subterranea, which is the title track of the album. Heavy symphonic keyboards on this track. Real catchy beat, real catchy riff. The bass is very forward in this, more so than a lot of the other tracks. Vocals are great and clear and dominant. Fast-paced, catchy guitar riff. A slow melodic part that begins, that kind of builds and ends the particular track as well. This was probably my favorite song on the album, or one of the two. I think this one was probably my favorite though. Next track out is called Sleeping Incidental. Quiet vocal part with an acoustic guitar part at the beginning. Got a lot of synth background behind it to give it body. And then you have this guitar explodes on the scene with a kind of heavy picking sound around the 2-minute mark. And then it gets heavier. The vocals get stronger and heavier as well. And there's this kind of slow church organ part that's quite good, that when it slows it down a bit. The drums and keys then get heavier again, with a keyboard solo and a very Genesis-like keyboard solo at that, and then a guitar solo to end it. So that's it for the first 4 tracks. I'm going to flip over here. Hopefully I don't bang it and turn it off. So I'm going to stop holding it because it's starting to give me an arm ache. So the next track out is called Failsafe. Starts with a kind of a heavy guitar part and keyboard part. The keys go off a little bit here on a solo part, but not extensive. There's no extensive solos on any of the songs, really. Drums are catchy with some very heavy beats to it. A slower, more keyboard parts. The vocals are more spoken-like, but smooth and sound great. There's parts of this song where the vocals seemed almost kind of backgroundish. I don't know what that is. It sounds different. You got a nice heavy guitar riff and drum part towards the end of the song, and the vocals are melodic. Vocals melodic, musical towards the end of that part too. It kind of picks up too, so it's not so far in the background. Next song is called Speak My Name. It's a short one. Keyboards and organ, melodic parts, slow. This is a slow song. The vocals are smooth, clear, and articulate on the song. You can hear the enunciation of his vocals parts. It's a melodic song with an acoustic guitar on it as well. Next song is called Tunnel Vision. Heavy riff, catchy beat, similar sounds to the song Subterranea. It's got this repetitive, I would call it almost melody or beat to it that they've actually incorporated from Subterranea over to this song. It doesn't dominate the whole song, but it does. There is a part where it's playing. The vocals are solid, smooth, forward, and just really good. Keyboards join in the riff, adding to it. Keyboard solo, very slow, very melodic, very heavy, and almost spacey at times. And the keyboards take over a slow, melodic, almost foreboding sense towards the end of this track. So not a bad track. I did like it. It had a lot of different stuff going on. Infernal Chorus, which is the next track. This is a very kind of, starts out with a kind of heavy drum beat with a symphonic keyboard synthesizer fill kind of backing up the drums. And then you got this vocal backgroundish kind of song part going on again. Keyboards get heavier. And then there's a nice keyboard solo. I think the overall feel of this particular song is more keyboard dominated. Next one is called King of Fools, marching like a melodic It's got a marching-like melodic beat with a synthesizer behind it. And then you've got this kind of vocal talking spoken part, which he does fairly often throughout the album. A Sense of Sanity. This is the song with the xylophone, really good actually, with a keyboard support. So you got the xylophone going on, a little bit of that synthesizer part going on behind it. It's got a low ebb vocal, so the vocals are kind of low in the mix here. State of Mind starts up with the same kind of previous sound that was going on in Sense of Sanity, but then grows much heavier. The guitar riff, drums, and bass, and a very heavy beat. Nice frontal solo, keyboard solo. This has a very Genesis sound to it. A more kind of well-produced Genesis sound, so not so dated sound. Okay, so the second disc, that was the first disc. I think the second disc is a better disc. Not by a lot, but I think overall the songs are probably a little bit better. Laid Low, which is the first one, it's got a piano part with a keyboard and synthesizer atmosphere. This is an instrumental as well. The other instrumental I forgot to mention was the first track called Overture, and then there's one more after this. So this is a piano and keyboard part. Interesting, but nothing dominating. So the next track, Breathtaker, this is a good track. Heavy guitar riff. Just a heavy guitar-driven riff throughout the whole song. Slow melodic part takes over for a bit, but pretty much dominated by that heavy intensity. It builds again with a nice keyboard part and very strong, very catchy song. Capricorn, another acoustic guitar-like sound to open. I don't know if it's actually an acoustic guitar or just a melodic electric guitar played like an acoustic guitar, like a picking sound. The vocals are low spoken and with some high points throughout it. Very heavy atmosphere of the keyboards, and a melodic guitar solo at one point in the song, and it ends with a kind of a low, slow, with a sax-like sound, which I found out later there was a sax player on it. Didn't originally mention that when I was looking the information up, but then later I checked the second place to look back, and there was a mention of a saxophone in there, so that's good. Okay, Unsolid Ground. This is probably one of my 3 favorite tracks. It's got a church-like organ that opens. It's a catchy guitar riff. It's almost a picking sound that goes on throughout the song. The vocals are catchy as well. The guitar riff, which is very catchy as it builds, like as the song gets more heavy sounding. There's this heavy guitar riff, but there's still this picking part going on as well. Very clear, very heavy drum parts as well. The solo is very catchy, and it ends with this kind of a spacey sound going on, almost like it's going into space. Next track out, Somewhere in Time, catchy acoustic guitar opening. Very good, solid vocals here, really catchy. Get some strong, built-up sounds going on. The guitar is really catchy. The keyboard part is also very catchy. Lots of symphonic parts. This is probably one of the songs more dominated by that symphonic part than just about anything else. Nice guitar solo and riff to end the song as well. So a pretty strong one, I think. Next song is called High Water. It's kind of a low ebb vocal part. It's just like he's just kind of slowly singing, very low piano, a little bit of synthesizer accompaniment for background sound. Heavy riff and melodic solo towards the mid part of the song. And the last song, which is the longest song and another one of my favorites, is called The Narrow Margin. It's 20 minutes in length. Lots going on here. Slow melodic piano and almost industrial sounds going on behind it when you open it. Then you got this vocal slow emotion. The vocals are slow, kind of emotional, kind of melodic, clear sounding. Builds up to a nice synthesizer sound. Then you have this kind of keyboard part that's fast paced, very good. heavy, fast-paced guitar solo, then some melodic keyboard synthesizer parts. It jumps into this heavy guitar riff and then another solo with a keyboard background part. Yeah, this last part is almost sounds like an explosion. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it's an interesting sound. Anyways, it adds a kind of a break to the song, and then you have this heavy keyboard solo followed by a heavy drum bass part that goes towards the end of the song, and it ends with this very slow symphonic atmospheric part, which is perfect ending for the song and the album because it's very much dominated by that symphonic prog sound that this band is somewhat known for. Yeah, some really good instrumentation throughout this entire album. Keyboard's very good. The guitar is excellent. The drums and bass at times give it a nice spine to the songs. And of course, Peter Nichols' vocals are absolutely crushing. I love it. So anyways, I know this was a bit of a longer video, but it is a double album, and I tend to be a little bit too analytical for most people's taste. But I just love this album. I think it's great. I think it'll end up being one of my favorite IQ albums. I don't know if it'll rival Dark Matter, but I think it's a pretty strong album. If it wasn't so long, maybe you could have cut out maybe 5 or 6 of the tracks. Might have been a little bit easier to absorb. Anyways, I hope you like and subscribe. That'd be much appreciated. Want to leave any comments about IQ, about the album Subterranea, about anything I've said, or about the album in general, you can do that as well. And have yourself a good night and a good evening, and we'll see you next week on Look Back at a Classic Rock Album. Take care and goodbye.